So I've been telling you guys all along that establishment Republicans who claimed to hate Trump actually didn't. And we have some incredible evidence of that for you here. So let's watch, and then I'll explain exactly what this shows.
There are so few Republican officials willing to say anything to the president about this kind of behavior. I want you to take a listen to Republican Senator Lindsey Graham and what he had to say when asked about this kind of behavior.
You know what concerns me about the American press is this endless attempt to label the guy as some kind of kook, not fit to be president.
Now, I have never said, and I don't think anybody here has ever said, that the president is a kook or that he's unfit to be president. But you know who has? Take a look.
I think he's a kook. I think he's crazy. I think he's unfit for office.
What a difference a year.
Projection is a real thing.
What a difference a year makes.
I love that because, and I warned you guys about this every step of the way, that there are certain Republicans, like Bill Kristol, like David Frum, Lindsey Graham was part of this as well. They were criticizing the president heavily early on. Now, the resistance flocked to them and said, yes, these are the reasonable Republicans. Evan McMuffin is another great example. The reasonable Republicans who are standing up to Trump. Oh, yes, oh, yes. But here's the problem with that. The substance of your critique of Trump matters more than anything. And if you listen closely to what these people were saying every step of the way, the reason why somebody like Evan McMuffin was against Trump is because he was like, he's not sufficiently deferent to the deep state. He doesn't listen to the CIA all the time and let them do these rogue operations. Bill Kristol, hey man, half the time on the campaign trail, Trump was talking about how we need to get out of Afghanistan and Iraq. I don't like that. I want to stay in those places. So Trump is, he's crazy. He's out of his mind. He doesn't believe in American exceptionalism. Same thing for David Frum. Lindsey Graham, same thing. He was afraid that Donald Trump was going to pull out of all the wars that we're engaged in, was going to become isolationist, is the term they use. That's the pejorative term for non-interventionist, which means, hey, let's not do offensive wars. Let's only use our military when there's a direct threat of attack against us. So let's, for self-defense, the same fucking standard we expect from every other country on earth. Hey, maybe we should apply that to us. Isolationist. You don't think we're special and we get to do whatever we want. So he hated Trump because every now and then he'd say non-interventionist stuff. And he also hated Trump because Trump, his on-again, off-again populist message on the campaign trail. Hey, let's not do TPP. NAFTA was terrible. We're getting screwed in trade deals. The American middle class getting screwed. That's why Lindsey Graham and other establishment Republicans didn't like Trump. They didn't like him because in the few areas where his rhetoric, at least, was better than other Republicans, they were like, no, you need to be shitty across the board like us. Now, what's the reality now? The mask is off, the Trump administration. In other words, now they're just showing, they're just like Mitt Romney, they're just like every other establishment Republican. Even moves that they made that were not like that, it was a scam, it was a ruse. We were chumps when he said, I pulled out a TPP. Look, I signed an executive order. Well, guess what? Now in the NAFTA renegotiation, they're slipping in the worst provisions of TPP. I got a story I'm going to do for you in a little bit, giving you the specific numbers. There are more jobs outsourced under Trump than in the last year under Obama. So he ran his whole fucking campaign on no more outsourcing, and now he's outsourcing jobs. So he's exactly like the other establishment Republicans. He's got fucking Goldman Sachs insiders in his administration writing his fucking tax bill. He's an establishment Republican 101. And look at what little old Lindsey Graham did. Totally flipped his opinion. He went from saying, I think he's a kook, I think he's crazy, to, I can't believe the media is saying this guy's a kook and that he's crazy. Because now Trump and the Republicans are pushing a tax bill that cuts taxes for the rich raises taxes on the middle class. Trump has been outsourcing jobs. All of his protectionism talk was a ruse. Trump has been increasing the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and Syria. Across the board, drone strikes increasing. So Lindsey Graham can take yes for an answer. And that's what happened. As Donald Trump is running his administration like Lindsey Graham would run his administration. So he's like, oh, I like the guy now. So now fucking media, with the fake news attacking Trump. They were afraid, the establishment Republicans were afraid that he wasn't an establishment Republican. When it turns out he is an establishment Republican, all of a sudden, Lindsey Graham, total 180. And that's why I told you guys every step of the way, the bar for intelligent and the bar for somebody on your side has to be more than just anti-Trump. Because Trump, at least in his rhetoric, not in his policies are odious across the board, but at least in his rhetoric, he is half populist, half non-interventionist. So you always have to listen to the substance of the critique of Trump that's being given by other Republicans. Because that'll tell you what those Republicans, why they really oppose him when they do. And virtually across the board, when other Republicans opposed him, it was because they were like, you're not shitty enough. So now you know, don't, run into the loving arms of Evan McMuffin or Bill Kristol or Lindsey Graham or clowns like that. Even John McCain, everybody's like, oh, hero John McCain, he killed Trump Care. Great, he killed Trump Care. By the way, there was a 12% approval rating or 17% approval rating of Trump Care. That's with the American people. Only 17% liked it. And we're praising this guy for killing a bill that should have had no prayer of passing in the first place. But now what does he do? With the tax plan, which is almost exactly as unpopular, McCain's for it. So don't easy with the praise, because it's almost like, you're thanking a velociraptor for not eating your face off and for just eating your leg off. That is the definition of damning with faint praise. Okay. Speak of the devil on foreign policy. I got some important stuff here on foreign policy.